are a graduate of MBA program, but not only. When did you actually graduate from this program?
Actually, it was a long time ago. I was one of the first in MBAs. So actually, I studied between 97 and 98.
And what happened then?
Well, afterwards, I went into consultancy internationally. So I had a chance or lucky enough to travel and work for multinationals, mainly American companies.
But now you are still with us.
Well, I've got a sentiment. Actually, I met my wife in the school, so
Wow.
this is one probably of the reasons. And I've been asked by Professor Nicholson, who used to be my operations management professor, to come back to the school and try to reuse or share the experiences that I had and help him basically with the operational management and introduce the project management and business transformation topic that I'm still since 12 years I've been lecturing in the school.
Yes, and we will talk about your experience in a moment, but maybe let's say a few words now about our school and our international partners. We've been founded more than 25 years ago. Actually, last year we celebrated 25th anniversary of our existence on the market. And we were founded by 4 prominent international institutions. Warsaw University of Technology, of course, HEC School of Management in Paris, London Business School, and NHH Norwegian School of Economics. Having said that, within these 25 years, we did not limit ourselves only to this collaboration, but we also expanded our collaboration. And now we have strategic alliances with 3 institutions. University of Salford in Manchester, BMI Baltic Management Institute, which was founded by HEC, and Goa Institute of Management in India. Okay, so let's start with the program. Our educational concept is based on 3 pillars: knowledge for business, business in action, and personal development. So this is how the program looks like. In knowledge for business, which I will start from, we have core courses. Okay, you teach?
Actually, I was looking here and I teach the project management and business knowledge as part of the operation management course, which you have on the left lower side of the screen.
Yes, and I have a pleasure to teach marketing courses. But generally speaking, what are these core courses and why we offer them? In every international good certified MBA program, you would have core key modules which allow students to expand their knowledge in business. And this will be very similar to any business school where you go. So you will have economics, financial instruments, accountings, marketing, etc., etc. What we added this year is a new module, which is business model transformation with new technologies. The reason for that is because there are so many changes happening on the market, and we wanted to follow these trends. What we also have on offer are specialized courses which are offered in Warsaw and at our partner schools. I will talk about it a little bit later. And also super weekends, which are offered at our institution and also at our partner. Now, business in action. In business in action, we have 3 modules, but we will again discuss this in a moment. I just want to show you the whole structure. So we have 3 modules. Plus, we also have business trips and personal development program, which is a program basically running through all your studies, so 2 years. I will also explain a little bit more on this in a moment. Okay, so let's say a few words on specialized courses. What are these? These are courses which we offer in collaboration with our partner institutions, and we also offer at our school in Warsaw. For these courses, we invite students from our partners, and we work all together on certain issues. We discuss particular areas of interest. We also have some projects. So currently we have quite a wide offer of courses, as you can see on the slide. Business trips. These are just examples of business trips that we have on offer. So it's UK, China, India, Vietnam. These business trips are offered for our students, and in collaboration with our partners, we organize them in a way that students can experience other markets. So it's not just a trip somewhere to visit India or China, but it's a trip to experience real business and work with students who also look at things from other perspectives. So quite often this is a work on small projects in groups. A few words on teaching methods now. Our approach to teaching is very practical and interactive. We offer international workshops in collaboration with our partners. You've already heard about our electives, and these electives, I wanted to stress this fact that these are offered within this fee. You can choose as many electives as you want. You just have to cover the cost of your accommodation and travel. What you need to do is to select at least 5 modules, which you need to pass at the end. Super weekend. This is included in the fee, and here you don't have to cover the costs for traveling. We offer 2 super weekends during our program. One super weekend which is organized in Warsaw by our institution, and the other super weekend is organized by our partner. Current cohort has super weekend in Manchester. They will be traveling in January, and they will be working with our partner students. Case studies. Can you tell us what are case studies? What we actually do?
Case studies. We usually, I can say it from the time I used to be in MBA as a student, but as a lecturer as well. So usually, what you usually use pretty like Harvard or IESE or for example Stanford case studies, and you basically discuss practical issues that are up to date regarding specific topic. The output is to try to discuss them, to work it out with the groups. The nice thing about the groups is that usually people are different from many different areas, and they can share with the experience. They can see different point of views. Sometimes I remember when I used to be a student, we had a person who used to be a musician, and I actually I'm from an engineering background. And usually it was a pretty scientific kind of, we had to calculate things, and she was able to get to the same numbers. And for us, it was very interesting to see basically how someone else, a humanistic kind of person or a musician, can basically get to the same number using intuition or whatever. So it was a very humbling experience, and it was an interesting thing. The thing is that the person who does it is usually the person, and this is something that I noticed as a student and then as a lecturer, that usually these are practitioners. So these are professors who have extensive experience in the market. So usually they know a lot about the topic itself. So usually through provocative kind of questions, through the cases, we try basically to enrich basically your experience. So you could share the experience and try to get the result. The only thing in MBA usually is that there is no good or wrong. It always depends. It depends on the situation, yeah. And this is something that was very very interesting. In my, for example, topics, I usually base things, for example, the project on a real life project. We invented the case ourselves, me and my colleague who run the Zbyszek, we run the course, and based on that we took a case which, for example, Zbyszek managed. It was a setup of a bank, for example, in Central Europe, and we go through all life cycle of the project, and we every time work out the things, the cases. So we go through, for example, stakeholder management, planning, delivering, lessons learned, and we afterwards share basically our all experience, what happened, and we really reveal the case. And it's really an interesting case. So you could see, because it's a real case which is really simplified to be able to cope with the time. Yes, but.
Yeah, and of course, and it makes our classes very alive. So it's not just a simple transfer of knowledge from lecturer to students. It's not just knowledge which you can find on internet or in books, but it's something really practical. And we have very interactive classes, full of discussions on issues, which lead to particular conclusions. Yes, we try to discuss, but we try to also draw certain conclusions. What else? Computer simulation games. And I would like to tell you a few words on a business game which I run with students as a part of my marketing course. This is called Brand Project, an offspring of Markstraat. This is a business game which allows you to run a company within a period of 5 years. And basically make strategic decisions with regards to positioning, with regards to selecting proper pricing method, etc. So you have to make real decisions, and you have to work in a real environment. So it's like working on a real organism. And within the period of 8 hours, you cover a period of existence of 5 years. So you can either win, or you can lose, and you can destroy the company. It's a great opportunity. Plus, of course, you don't risk a lot, because this is just a game. So you are not playing with real money, but you learn a lot. And this game is actually used all over the world by the best business schools, and also by global companies. And it's, the other thing which is also very important here is that this computer simulation game is certified. So having completed it, you get a certificate which is recognized all over the world. I see that there is a question. We will talk about startups which actually were launched after the MBA projects. So maybe in a moment, because I have a slide and we will discuss our projects. So I will mention about this as well. Okay. What other teaching methods we have? I told you that we have 3 projects which we offer to our students: research project, new venture project, and consultancy project. With regards to research project, is a group work when students have to deal with some issue, either selected by them, so this might be something which they are really interested in, or they might have it discussed with their supervisor. The idea is to learn what data to gather, how to gather, and how to analyze the whole issue to come with certain conclusion at the end. As it is a scientific type of work, as a result of it, this year we have 2 papers which we hope to have published as a journal paper. So it's really good, high quality level. New venture project is a different type of project, and Usama, can you say something more about this?
I'm pretty excited about it. It was introduced by our entrepreneur professor Sylwia Skoromańczuk, and it wasn't really during my times, but actually I participated also as a lecturer or part lecturer in this thing. The thing is that due to the fact that currently the MBA is it's like trying to learn how to become an entrepreneur. So like experiencing basically the entrepreneurship mindset. So where at the beginning of the project you have a 3 days, if I remember, with the weekend, where different practitioners, entrepreneurs, investment bankers, lecturers meet together, and they give you basically a very intense course of how basically what the point of view of an investment banker or an investment fund. What's the point of view of how to manage or set up basically your startup and how to run it? And you talk to people who are very successful in the market. The third thing, what are the methodologies of doing it? What are the tools that need basically to set up such a project? And you get all the 3 things together. And from this moment, everyone invents, you are moved to different groups. You invent your own, assuming that you have the chance, you invent your own venture project, which is called like your startup. And we go through the whole life cycle of inventing a project and getting to a minimum viable product. So trying to make a presentation that in front of real investors, if your presentation and which is going to be evaluated, so you can get the feedback of the investment fund or managers regarding your project. Of course, you get the feedback throughout the life cycle because you're not left alone. Of course, the professor and the people. I used to be I would say an assistant professor. Helping basically 1 or 2 groups which had basically to defend themselves. I'm very ambitious, so I like my groups really to win. And at the end of the day, you get very good feedback. And sometimes, in some cases, this case, like 3 groups got basically the have been qualified for potential funding, which is an interesting thing to do. Some of them actually turned to be real projects. So answering your example of Michał, yes, there were some startups that had been launched. There was actually even 2. I myself actually launched a startup after the school, maybe not after the venture project, but as an MBA. I've got 2 companies, for example, that I'm trying to nurture. We will see how it's gonna get us. It's 3 years now. It's okay, but there is actually, if I remember, one company launched in cybersecurity. They moved actually to London, and the other company was called Risti. They implemented a device that can track IoT device. And now, correctly, they moved to Silicon Valley. Yes, yeah. It's called what? Finai. Yes, yeah. Finai. They used to be called Risti before, yeah. And actually, they had their headquarters here in the school, so the school gave them some, a good start. Of course, one of the things that I'm pretty excited is that in 2013, PZU had their MBA course for their employees here in the school. And as part of their end project, they invented a company that would be a spin-off of PZU, which would deal with innovation. And it's now called, since 2 years, it's called PZU Lab. And PZU Lab recently came to us. I'm actually going to lecture in PZU Lab education kind of course, and I'm very proud of those people. They were actually also my students, and maybe yours as well.
I think they were.
Yes, and I'm looking forward to see how they develop. We will see whether they are successful or not. I really wish them the best, but actually it's a really big initiative, and they really succeeded to secure the funds for the next 3 to 5 years.
Yes, and if you are interested in getting more information on this, we would like to invite you to an event which will take place at our school on 18th of November, Deep Tech, which is run by Professor Silvia Sisko-Romancio, and you can learn a bit more. Coming back to our consultancy projects, this is something which I run with Professor Alistair Nicholson, and this is a very special, very unique project. Meaning that we go to real companies, and students spend some time with the employees of these companies, also with the CEOs, with the top managers, to discuss either the issues, what could be improved, or to discuss the strategy, how to develop the company. So obviously depending on the topic. We've had a lot of very successful projects. This year there were one in Warsaw and in nearby cities. And this is a very, very practical approach to try to solve real issues. At the end, students give presentations. They, of course, prepare a report based on their experience and based on all these analysis, and they're trying to come with solutions. And they present it not only to supervisors, but also to CEOs of the company. And there is a very vivid discussion. What kind of problems have the students solved in consultancy project? A lot, really a lot of problems. I remember there was one company which is quite interesting, which was very well established on the market. But this was a family company, and the new generation which inherited the company decided that they want to introduce new products, but they really didn't know how to do it, and they didn't want to spoil the brand. And we had a very interesting project on this. Now this product has been launched and is quite successful on the market. Unfortunately, I cannot mention the name, but I can assure you that it was a really, really great experience for our students. Personal development program, this is something which I mentioned. This is a program which runs for 2 years, and it helps you develop as a person and also as a manager. What is so special about this program is that when you come to school, you go through a survey which is called 360 degrees survey, which helps you to understand what kind of leader, what kind of manager you are, what qualities you have, what could be improved in order to help you be more efficient and be more understood by your employees or colleagues. And you go through the whole process of learning, and you have a lot of different skills which you learn through this process, like for example negotiations, advocacy skill, presentation skills, etc., etc. And at the end you also take the survey and you see the real progress. A lot of different methods are used. So during this course you will have a lot of team building, so trying to not just work in group but trying to build a team, because this is a very diversified group. People come from various backgrounds, but we have to work all together, so they need to understand each other. They take part in interactive workshops, they learn role playing, and they also get individual feedback and coaching sessions. So these are just examples of our students' experiences. This is team building. These are also projects that our students took part in. This is a consultancy project.
This is you.
And this is me and Professor Alistair Nicholson with our students. As you can see, everybody's having fun, but it's also hard work, as you can see here. And of course, it's great when you make presentations and everybody is extremely happy. So who actually teaches at the school? A few words on our professors. Of course, I don't have a chance to show you pictures and tell you about all our professors give lectures, because there are a lot of them. But I would like to just mention about the most distinguished professors who have been with us for more than 20 years. So Professor Eric Cornwell, who comes from EFMD, so a European Foundation for Management Development. Professor Alistair Nicholson, whom you probably remember from the previous photo. He's professor at Oxford Said Business School and also London Business School. Professor Andrea Massini, who teaches at HEC Paris. Professor Sunita Malhotra from the University from Leuven, Belgium. And Professor Orłowski, who is really a Polish authority in economics, and Professor Krzysztof Jajuga, again another authority in finances. What I would like to stress here is that, of course, we have no chance to show you all of these lecturers who have a pleasure to teach on this program, but I would like to stress the fact that these people are very experienced in terms of teaching and in terms of business. All of them have practical experience in business, so either working with companies, working in the companies, or running their own businesses. Accreditations and rankings. We are very proud to have EPAS accreditation, which is a global accreditation. We've had it since 2006, and now we've had it renewed. We are also present internationally, and we are recognized by various rankings, like, for example, Perspective, first place in Alumni's Choice in 2018, and Best Program Content in 2017. Also, we got top quality EMBA Masterclass, top class rankings by Frost, top MBA leading positions in European rankings. Okay, a few words on our student. This is just a visual presentation on our students, so where they come from. As you can see, 35.5% of our students come from economic background, 35.5% from technical, 16% from humanities, and 13% from other. 39% are female, 61 male, and the average age now is 37, and we are getting more senior positions, senior managers. What I would like to also tell you is that we go through a very selective process of admissions, and it's very important because it's not just the best teaching method, it's not just to have very good professors, but it's also important to have the right people on board in terms of students cohort. Why it's important is because you are working all together and you are also learning from each other. We talk about so-called co-creation, which means that it's not just a simple discussion with us lecturers and sharing ideas, but it's also working with groups and learning from one another. So it's extremely important. What makes us unique? Just to sum it up, well, best international practices. We have lecturers from all over the world. We have also experience to collaborate and work together with students from our partner institutions. We also have these business trips where we get different perspectives on business. We have very practical approach to business, very practical classes. Of course, we teach theoretical aspects, but this theory is a core, is a key, is a basis for further discussion, which leads to practical business solutions. The strong impact is put on innovation, entrepreneurship, and new technologies. So we follow the new trends, we observe the market, and we react very quickly. We have 2 years personal development program that you really develop and become better leaders and better people. As I mentioned, we have prestigious EPAS accreditation. Program is delivered in English. And we have a very friendly timetable with classes which do not interfere with job activities. I will discuss it in a moment. And of course, the biggest network of the MBA alumni in Poland. And we actually have Samba. And can you tell us what Samba is? Membership in Business School Alumni Association. I think you were president once.
Yeah, actually, if you remember me or something, it was like 2 years after I finished my MBA. I was elected as the president of the alumni. It was very intense time. I used to be a young manager, so it was pretty difficult. But I think it was a very good kind of position to understand basically how the interaction. It used to be that time. It was like 2000, 2002. Used to be, I think, around 1,000 members. They vary in terms of activity, but the one thing that I can tell you is that I meet quite often with different people who are alumni, and usually when it really helps. Like one of the reasons why I think if someone would ask me why someone would go to an MBA, apart of the fact that you can see the horizon, you can enlarge your horizons and see how the business works generally and learn more. I think it's a relation. I strongly believe that relationships help in your life. At the end of the day, everyone would like to find a better job, maybe cooperate, find partners, and usually you used to find partners who have the same background like you, or you can potentially trust, or they can understand the same business language like you. So I don't want really to extend too much, apart of the fact that it really helped me in my career, helps still me. I cooperate with a lot of people. I just came out from preparing a big workshop for one of the biggest banks, and when I was thinking about special guests, I was thinking about my friends. One friend has set up from my years, was setting up, was CFO of, for example, Play, and used to help Netia in work in strategy in Netia. The other person used to be the CEO of Virgin Mobile, and so on. So actually, you can notice that your colleagues become key in key positions, and it really helps sometimes when at the end of the day, if you have good relations, you develop the long-term relations. Those relations would help you, and that helped me. I think it will help you as well. I strongly recommend you to use that or participate in some activities, because in the longer run they will come back to you in some sort of help, whether finding a job or finding, for example, a business partner, or finding a customer basically to connect to, or finding a colleague of a colleague, or finding even a person that could work with you. And I use all of these quite extensively, and probably you will use as well once you find yourself in this school.
So this is, of course, one of the benefits or extra services that you get beyond this program. But just very quickly, I would mention what other benefits we have on offer. So Fridays at 5. Fridays at 5 are meetings with very well-known personalities from the business or social economic world, and you have a chance to see what their perspective is, and you have a chance to discuss issues with them. Talent 3 is a free consulting, career consulting center that you can benefit from. Brand I've already mentioned, and lifelong learning. What does it mean? Is that all schools programs and modules are offered to MBA alumni at discounted prices, and we also have executive short programs offered by HSM, our founder, which are offered to our alumni at discounted prices. And a lot of networking events which we organize, like, for example, Carnival Ball, integration meetings, so-called business mixers, or very famous Christmas charity events. So what do you get at the end of this program? Diploma. We call it our passport to career development. It's Executive Masters of Business Administration Diploma. It is signed by the representative of the Council of Founders. You also get a certificate of completion. Graduation is a very solemn moment. I think you still remember graduation.
Yeah, it was an interesting, a very exciting experience. It was a bit sad because I really had fun. I graduated from the Warsaw University of Technology, but actually I really had a lot of fun in the MBA, and I met new friends. It's a completely different way of providing knowledge. So it was a bit sad, and it was exciting to try to use this in my career. So it was a lot of mixed feelings, but rather very positive. Yeah?
Yes, yeah, there are always mixed feelings, especially when you come with your family members, and everybody is so proud and congratulates you on the completion. And for us as lecturers, it's really a great pleasure, because we know that a lot of work has been put by students, so it's really a fantastic day. Okay, so now let's talk a few words about recruitment. The deadline for document submission is 7th of October. We are planning to run interviews on individual basis from 8th to 11th of October. There will be also tests in English and analytical predispositions run from 8th to 14th of October. This is done online. And recruitment results will be presented to you on 15th of October. Okay, so now a few words on the fee and what you actually get when you pay this fee. For Executive MBA Katalyst, you get 702 program hours, 3 days super weekends, which are included in the fee, UK and Poland, and broad selection of elective classes available at our partner institutions. Course fee, normally it's 69,600 zlotys. However, we have now an offer which we call back to school, which is 5% discount. So the amount is 66,120 zlotys, which could be paid in 8 installments. I would like to also encourage you to consider an opportunity which was offered by the Ministry of Development, which is actually interest-free loans. This is a possibility to get a loan which will fund you the whole program, and at the end of this program there is a chance that you will have this tuition fee redeemed up to 25%. Of course, conditions apply, but we are more than happy to explain you all these details and to guide you through the whole process, which we can do here when you come to our school, or you can send us an email or give us a call. Right, I don't treat this fee, as I said, as a fee, but I would call it an investment. And why do I call it an investment? I would like to present you a very interesting result of a paper by Sedlak and Sedlak. This is a report from 2017, which is quite new, which says that every fourth MBA graduate earns 19,997 zlotys and more. And the majority of graduates gets promoted already while being a student of the MBA Katalyst program. So I think it's worth considering. Usama, you can tell something about this from your perspective. Do you think that this was a very good investment?
Well, there is no direct, I would say, like from my point of view, direct proof that your money is gonna get immediately higher. But what I can say is that in an indirect way, it is true. For me personally, I wasn't maybe, let's say, promoted, but actually I changed my job. Yeah, and of course I changed it to a much better one. Okay. So this is, for example, one thing. The second thing is that for sure you can add more value. For example, for sure your effectiveness is in sales or in understanding like value selling, understanding how to build the business value proposition, for example, like extend enormously. So basically your effectiveness in business, my effectiveness became much higher as a result of those studies. Yes, I found a better job international because I started my job outside of Poland, and so it gave me basically a kick basically in my career. So from my point of view, it was a big push basically ahead. Regarding my, for example, colleagues or what I notice, usually there are different basically ways. So sometimes it's a motivation to change because you discover yourself. You see basically whether the place you're in is the right place. You match it to your natural preferences. So for sure, this MBA will help you make up your decision basically regarding how to transform yourself. Usually, when you transform yourself, I think basically it's to the better. Some people get promoted. Some people get basically caught by, for example, companies that come to school to present themselves and so on. There are, for example, MBA career fair. Sometimes you may apply, basically put your CV, and you may be surprised basically that someone will call you next days. So the forms are different. I think basically that for sure still MBA is a way to change something in your career. Of course, especially that the market is changing. market used to be 1 year ago different. Now it's different again. There is the business transformation, this digital transformation, okay? And so you need to acquire a new set of skills, basically, that will help you prepare for a new challenge instead of sitting where you are and waiting until the change will catch you. For example, that could be one case.
Yes, thank you very much. I would like to present you our email address if you have any questions. I see that Michał is asking a question when the program starts. In October? Yes, in October, 19th of October, so pretty soon. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask us now. Or if you would like to have a further discussion, please send us an email or give us a ring. I don't see any more questions, so I would like to...
Someone is, I think, writing.
Igor is writing a question. Oh, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much. And we also have 2 other people trying to type something for us. You will get phone numbers on our website, so feel free to contact us at any time, and our coordinators will be more than happy to explain everything in more detail if anything comes to your head, or just simply send us an email and we will respond. Okay, I would like to take this opportunity to thank you for your time, and I hope to see you in October. Thank you.
Good luck.